Hello and welcome everyone, it's OT19 or Ultimate Gamer 19,000. I'm here today to review to you the Monk in Baldur's Gate 3. Now, the Monk class in Baldur's Gate 3 is the closest you can get to someone like Batman or anyone from Street Fighter, really. They're mostly unarmed combatants that occasionally use weapons, but really excel with unarmored fighting. Now, for saving throws, they do get strength and dexterity, which to me should be dexterity and wisdom, but that's a little bit OP. But granted, because for D&D, like, it makes no sense why it's not wisdom and dexterity. Like, it's legit against the class's identity to not be wisdom and dexterity, and also monks in D&D are just incredibly weak. So, yeah. But in Baldur's Gate 3, it does make a little more sense why it would be you would have the strength proficiency, which is strength saving throw. In general, the strength ability is pretty useless in D&D. In Baldur's Gate 3 is a little more important because of carry weight capacity, but granted, you do have, Karlak, so she can just get all of your items. But yeah, monks do get proficiency with simple weapons and short swords, but monks have a special type of weapon called a monk weapon. Basically, a monk weapon is any weapon you're proficient in that doesn't have the two-handed or heavy property. And basically, being a monk weapon, you can use your dexterity modifier for attack rolls, which is pretty damn cool. Now, for a level 1, you can pick from history, insight, religion, acrobatics, or stealth, or athletics. I would recommend stealth and insight. Insight's really, really good for D&D. Well, for Baldur's Gate 3 and D&D. So yeah, I would recommend it. Now, a monk's spellcasting ability for scrolls and like armor, whatever, is its wisdom. So make sure you have a decent wisdom, I would say. At level 1, monks can get some pretty cool stuff. At first level, they gain key points. These are basically things that fuel most of your really cool items, and they regain on a short or long rest. Now, at level 1 also, you don't get up like a massive horde of stuff, and I'll just blow through it real quickly. When you attack with your unarmed attacks, they scale with your dexterity instead of your strength, which is pretty nice. Also, martial arts death strikes. Basically, all monk weapons and unarmed attacks deal a d4 of damage unless their normal damage is higher. Next, you get martial arts bonus unarmed strike. After making an attack with a monk weapon, or while unarmed, you can make another unarmed attack as a bonus action. You also get unarmored defense. Your reflexes are as effective as any armor. While not wearing armor, you can add your wisdom modifier to your armor class. This feature does not combine with mage armor, nor the barbarian's version of the unarmored defense. So yeah. Next we get flurry of blows. Using a bonus action and a key point, you can punch twice in a quick succession, basically allowing you to make two unarmed attacks. Yeah, monks at level 1 get a lot of really cool features. So yeah, and level 2, it doesn't stop. They get even more cool features. First of all, their movement speed when unarmored is increased by 10 feet, which is pretty damn nice. They get patient defense, which you will never use in your life. Step in the wind disengage, which again, you'll never use in your life. Step in the wind dash, which you'll use twice, so I will go over it. If you spend a bonus action and one key point, you can double your movement speed. So overall, not bad, but once you get the boots of speed, it becomes extremely obsolete. Now at level 3, you do gain some really cool features. Your unarmed strikes or monk weapons now deal a d6 of bludgeoning damage, unless their normal damage is higher again. You can also pick from your subclass of one of the four elements, open hand or way of the shadow. Overall, three cool subclasses. Shadow and open hand are better. Open hand genuinely is just the best subclass in the game. Next, you also get deflect missiles. Basically, when anyone would be attacking you for a ranged weapon attack, you can reduce the damage by a d10 plus your monk level plus your dexterity modifier, and if the damage becomes 0, you can bloop send that right back to your opponent for 1 key point. Next, at level 4, you gain a feat and slow fall, which gives you resistance to falling damage. Also, every level, you gain 1 additional key point. I feel like I should mention that. So at level 4, you would be at 5 key points. Now at level 5, you would be at 6 key points, and you get some new ways to spend those key points. You get Stunning Strike. melee, and unarmed. Basically, Stunning Strike is one of those features that on paper seems really good. And D&D 5e is really good. Many people think in D&D 5e, Stunning Strikes is the reason why monks suck. Because the D&D team is afraid of buffing Stunning Strikes, of buffing monks, but still having Stunning Strike being really broken. Which in D&D, it's really not that broken. But in Baldur's Gate 3, it kind of also follows in line where, yeah, Stunning Strike can be nice, but again, some creatures just have, if a creature has a good constitution saving throw, then you're kind of cooked. Which in Act 3, I feel like a lot of creatures you're fighting usually do have like really, either a really high con or like proficiency in con save, so it's in reality, it's kind of a lost cause. But if you do want to spend one key point, you can now possibly stun your targets, which would make them not able to take action, basically skip their whole turn, and all attacks against them would have advantage, which is nice, but usually in Baldur's Gate 3, it is just better to flurry of blows, especially if you're playing a Tavern Brawler Monk, which I will be getting into in another video, not this one. Also at level 5, you get a lot at level 5. If you're aware of the Shadow Monk, you get Cloak of Shadows and extra attack, which allows you to attack one more time. At level 6, you gain an additional key point, as you do for every level, and key empowered strikes. Basically, your monk punches now count as, my bad, your monk punches now count as magical for a point of overcoming resistances and immunities. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. You get improved unarmored movement. Your movement speed is increased by 15 feet when you're not wearing armor or using a shield, which again, pretty damn cool. Now, level 6, you also get some pretty massive subclass features, which I will be going over in other videos, but just know level 6 for the monk is really important. At level 7, they gain evasion and stillness of mind. Evasion basically reads, when you succeed on a dexterity saving throw, instead of taking half damage, you don't take any damage. So for things like Fireball or Lightning Bolt, any dexterity saving throw targeting spell or effect, you can basically take 0 damage because your dex save is so high, you're most likely going to succeed, especially if you have the Graceful Cloth, which I will be going into later in the must-have section for monks. As you can see, it's pretty small because of how diverse the monk is, in my opinion. Next, we have Stillness of Mind. If you are charmed or frightened, you automatically cast Stillness of Mind to remove this condition. At level 8, you gain an additional feat, which is pretty damn cool. At level 9, again, another decently important level for all of the monks, you gain Wave the Open Hand, gains a bunch of cool features. So does Wave the 4 Elements, but every monk, unarmed strikes now do a d8 damage, or their monk weapons also deal a d8. So this is actually really good for Way of Shadow monks because they have a certain feature that kind of relies on, no, not a certain feature, they use certain weapons that would greatly benefit from having a d8 instead of a d6. They also can now move on difficult terrain like it's nothing, which can actually be really good for like walking through a Hunger of Hadar, for example, or like something like that. Not being like tied, bound to difficult terrain is super nice. Also, you can jump an additional 20 feet, which is pretty damn good, especially if you have a Cloud Giant Elixir. You can just jump throughout the whole map. At level 10, they can now move an additional 20 feet when not wearing armor or shields, which is pretty cool. And you're immune to poison damage and can't be poisoned. I think this is the only class in game that gains immunity to any damage. The only class in game, because yeah, barbarians can't resistance. So this is actually pretty damn cool. Now, poison damage isn't the most common in Baldur's Gate 3, but definitely is nice to be immune to a damage type. Now, 11 level 11 monks, all the subclasses get some decent features. I don't know, none of these seem like must-haves in my opinion. And at level 12, finally they gain additional feats and are capped out with 13 key points. Overall, what are my final thoughts on the monk? Should you play it, and do I like it? Monks are in competition for being the best class in the game. That is not a joke. For all my D&D veterans out there, you would probably be laughing at me if you haven't played. If you'd be laughing at me, because I would be laughing at myself too. If I told myself before Baldur's Gate 3 came out that monks would be the best class in the game, I wouldn't believe me. But trust me, as someone that has played monks throughout almost probably over 3/4 of 6 playthroughs of Baldur's Gate 3, one of my companions or my main character has been a monk, and I have shredded through the game. If you're playing on honor mode, I think monks, Thor barbarians are two must have members of your party. Genuinely, the monk is one of the most broken classes, and I think it's the best in the game. Wizard like Wizards genuinely sit down because the monks has the most sustained damage, most reliable damage. They get a lot of stuff back on a short rest. It's just monks are insane with how powerful overall they are. And yeah, now when it comes to items that every monk wants, it's the graceful cloth. Getting a plus to the dexterity is pretty damn nice because this doesn't count as armor, so this basically acts as an 11 base armor class, but you can still add your dexterity and your wisdom modifier on top of it, which is actually pretty damn nice. But yeah, I think overall, do I like the monk? Yes, the monk is my favorite class in the game and easily the most broken. But yeah, that's it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And especially turn on those post notifications because tomorrow I'll be going over what I think is the best monk subclass and probably the best build in the game, the way of the open hand monk. Well, that's all for today. OT19 signing out. Peace.